You're watching TVC Breakfast. It's time for us to take a look at the stories making headlines across Nigerian newspapers. And I have with me in the studio our regulars. I have Sesan Okunade here, a chartered accountant and public affairs analyst. Sesan, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
And thank God it's Friday.
You know that's the usual thing. We just have to take it cool on a Friday.
No, of course.
After even the rain yesterday.
Exactly.
The
rain was
crazy.
something else yesterday.
Yesterday was crazy. But
whoa.
Thank God we are here this morning.
But, you know, in our own, we say anytime the rain falls, we say it's blessing.
Blessings, yeah. Even when you have to stay 5 hours.
Exactly. Or even if you have to scale flood. All right. Kehinde Nwandu is the CEO of CKN News, and he joins me now on Zoom. CKN, good morning.
My people, good morning. My people, my people.
My people, my people.
My people.
Good to see you.
Nice to be here.
Very good. All right, now let's begin with this Nigeria. This Nigeria says invasion of Odili's home, police nab 14. Suspect says Malami recruited him for operation. Suspects claim mischievous. Wike invasion is APC's plot at intimidating judiciary ahead of 2023. All right, all these on the front page of this Nigeria. From there, The Guardian is next. Intrigues as police parade 14 alleged invaders of Odili's home. All right, that's The Guardian newspaper. Daily Times. Daily Times says invasion of Justice Odili's home, Malami kicks as a suspect says he works for him. Documents presented during raid on Justice Odili's home fraudulently obtained. The police is saying this. Okay, all of this on the front page of the Daily Times. Daily Independent says raid on Justice Odili's home, AGF Malami rattled as CSP claims he works for him. Okay, this is still under investigation from what the police is saying, but this is telling us so far what's the issues. First News says Odili's homes invasion, Malami under heat, may lose job. That is what First News says. Okay, from there let's go to Tribune. Nigeria Tribune says Justice Odili's house invasion, Malami kicks as suspect says he works for him. Okay. And I'm a consultant to the Attorney General of the Federation. Prime suspect alleges, and he's a drowning man, and I have no business with him. The AGF is replying that a police parade 14 suspects. A syndicate includes, herbalists, journalists, lawyers, security officers, and so on. And this is really a thing of concern. All right, Daily Trust is next. Justice Odili, prime suspect, Malami trade words. I consult for AGF. His drowning minister is saying this. Whistleblower claims I am prayer warrior. We'll get to the root of the matter, MBA says. And I think that is the crux. We'll get to the root of this matter to know actually what is behind all this. Daily Sun. Police parade invaders of Justice Odili's home. All right, that's what the Daily Sun says this morning. Okay, from there, let's go to The Guardian. Intrigues as police parade 14 alleged invaders of Odili's home. All right, I think we've seen The Guardian earlier. All right, but that's what The Guardian says. Okay, from there, let's go to New Telegraph. All right, New Telegraph is going somewhere else, and it says, Kanu Igboho, nobody has approached federal government for political solution. Malami is saying this, right? From there, let's go to the Nation newspaper. Governors, AGF Malami working for consultants. And that's what the governors are saying. Remember the $480 million consultancy fee that has been trailing and causing controversy all the while. War over Paris Club loan refund rages between the governors and the Attorney General of the Federation. From there, let's go to This Day. This Day newspaper says Governor Fayemi, Malami should defend Nigeria, not claimants. This is still a fallout from the Paris Club refund. Okay. A Vanguard newspaper is focusing on insecurity. Federal government under attack over 3,906 fleeing inmates. Federal government under attack over 3,906 fleeing inmates. All right. Blueprint newspaper says Nigeria correctional centers, 15 jailbreaks occur in 8 years. 3,646 inmates still on the run. This is really scary in the minds of all Nigerians. Blueprint, all right. Leadership newspaper says public hospitals struggle with poor facilities. Public hospitals struggle with poor facilities. Experts suggest ways to improve healthcare in 29,362 hospitals. Wow. And Nigeria loses $2 billion to medical tourism annually. Okay. Of course, if time permits, we'll be talking about this as we get along. News Direct is next. COVID-19 vaccination. Buhari raises flag of warning, seeks help of world leaders. Right. He was in France. And he's been talking with world leaders there. From there, let's go to national economy. LPG price hike reversing gains of clean energy campaign. Cooking gas now is skyrocketing the prices and is causing a lot of concern to all Nigerians. Business Day is the last one we're seeing now. And it says, Lagos streets turn outlets for fast food. Lagos streets turn outlets for fast food. Okay, all that on the front page of the Business Day. Okay, now let's get into the crux of the day. Recently, the home of Justice Odili was invaded by persons whom now we're seeing that all the agencies are saying we didn't send anybody to invade the home, and but why is this? So it's generating a lot of controversy. The police have arrested 14 persons, and we understand about 7 others are on the run. So, CKN, I'm going to start with you on this for obvious reasons. The home of Justice Odili was invaded recently, and a lot of persons don't understand the gravity of this offense. Can you paint a picture for us to understand how much of an offense this is?
Once again, thank you, Mike. First and foremost, I need to commend the Nigerian police for the promptness and swiftness with which they were able to arrest all the suspects, as it were, in this case. Let's just paint a scenario of what happened. Some days back, in the wee hours of the night, some people who claim to be security agencies invaded the Abuja home of the second most ranking Justice of the Supreme Court, Justice Odili. And a lot of just because of these days of social media, that invasion went on social media immediately, within seconds and minutes of that invasion, and a lot of apprehension were raised, and fingers were pointed at most of the security agencies, especially EFCC, and as well as the police, and I think the DSS also came into play. But those agencies came out to say that they were not part of that invasion, and then they issued press releases through their statements, through their media heads. Then the next line of action was that if there was an invasion, what was the reason? And it was also, we now find out that some people went to a magistrate court in Abuja to obtain a search warrant, which was validly issued by a magistrate. And that is where the fingers now start moving towards the office of the AGF. And then it's escalated. At the end of it all, the invaders left because they couldn't even have incursion fully into the house. But that raised a lot of questions, because the issue became how come that we have separation of power as established in our in the 1999 Constitution as amended. The executive have no power over the judiciary, neither do they have power over the legislature. So we are operating a three-way approach, a kind of governance where each arm of government is independent of each other. So that invasion is seen as an invasion by the executive arm, and Nigerians raise a lot of eyebrow. So many Nigerians, so many personnel, including the governor of Rivers State, Governor Nyesom Wike, whose state Justice Mary Odili comes from, quickly went to the home, also as part of more like a solidarity visit. But a few days later, the police came out to say that they are going to investigate that, and a committee was inaugurated to a panel to look at that. And I think the outcome of the investigation is the arrest of some of the people that were involved, and the suspects were arrested yesterday. Good one, as I say once again, to the police, but it goes beyond that. You listen to some of the statement of the suspect. It raises so many issues again, like the prime suspect, the so-called CSP, who were found out to be a fake, is still insisting that he's working for the Attorney General of the Federation, which the AGF has also come out to deny. I think proper investigation should now be carried out beyond just what the police is doing to find out whether the office of the Attorney General is actually involved. I want to give the AGF the benefit of the doubt by believing that he's not part of this. But if someone insisting that he is, then we have to do further investigation.
All right. Now, Sesan, the ease by which people will invade the home of a justice of the Supreme Court also draws attention to a lot of concern for Nigerians, because justices of the Supreme Court are seen as, up there, people who are highly respected, people who are highly revered, and so on. What do you make of this?
Yeah, Mike, it's quite disheartening if this caliber of people are not safe. We are talking of the second in command at the Supreme Court, and a house invaded as if a common man on the streets has to be. Quite shocking to know that we have someone at the level of CSP involved in this kind of a thing. We have asked several questions, the way and manner our police officers paraded
we
themselves.
understand he's a fake CSP, though. From the report, to say he is not a police officer in the first place.
Well, not until when they finish with the investigation. But the news we have on ground now say is a CSP. And we have said it times without number. So many people that are actually being disengaged from police force. How do we treat them? We have seen instances on the road that police that is no longer with the service will wear uniform and sit in front of vehicles and start harassing innocent citizens on the road. Even engaging some of these commercial buses to go against the law. And if you apprehend and catch one or two of them, they will tell you they are no longer in service. How do we do it? It takes me back to the gap that we have in the police force. We have said it times to that number that most of those people have come to allege that even the uniform they wear, they buy it with their money. So when you buy something with your money, what control do you have over it? You and I know that if you are disengaging from the service of this organization today, you are to submit every document, which inclusive in the police force is their uniform. But they can only do that if they are the one that give that thing to you. And these are part of the problem we are having. It's baffling when you hear instances like this saying that he's not a police officer. Then how did he get in place? Somebody will just wake up and now he's even linking himself with AGF. It's quite disheartening. But that is just to Odili. What do we say about the common man? Most of the ones that you see, I've had instances where I had to park down commercial vehicle and you see a police officer telling you, who are you? To go against the law. I say, but this is one way. This should not be encouraged. And he'll tell you, are you a lawyer? Are you this? These are some of the things that the police force must put into check. If you are disengaging with the police force, take everything that has to do with it, and it will take us back to that aspect that it is what you give to someone. If you are giving me the opportunity to sew my suit, sew my wear, everything, and when I'm leaving the organization, the only thing I owe you possibly might be your ID card. But that uniform, you know, it commands so much authority that it should not be seen in the hand of anyone that is no longer in the service. So to minimize this proliferation of into the police force, because we talk of Odili, or about the common man. We thank God that it didn't end the other way. If she was attacked and possibly very shocked, you know, at times you just see invasion, shock alone can send you to the other side of the grave. We'll be telling a different story now, and I'm sure someone who is dead may not be able to give the side of the story, but she's alive to say, okay, this is what happened, this is how it occurred, this and this and this. So the police must definitely work out things. People that are disengaged from police service should be monitored closely to make sure that they are not using that uniform. Before you bring that ID card, if you see a police officer putting under his authority, you first respect before you ask of, please, can you identify yourself or give a search warrant or anything. You have to respect it. And come to think about it, you are not talking of someone who the police claim is not in service. How will you know that? It's just something that the police must work on in such a way that we will not have this kind of miscreant making use of our uniform to perpetrate this kind of evil.
All right. Now, Chris, the point there is one of the suspects came out to say that he's a consultant to the Attorney General of the Federation. That is really a serious claim at this time, especially looking at the persons who are involved. But others are saying, of course, he wouldn't just have popped out of nowhere to say what he doesn't know. So this heightens the controversy around it. So what do you make of that?
Yeah, Mike, you know, I said it in my opening remark that the fact that he's the prime suspect, not just one of the suspects, the prime suspect said that he works as a consultant to the AGF, which the AGF have come to denounce as the statement of a drowning man. But that is too close to call for me, which is why I said we should go, we should make further investigation. For them to have carried out this at the residence of Justice Odili, this guy must have perfected and must have carried out several other raids. So who authorized those raids? I am sure this is not the first time. And secondly, Mike, what also got me worried is the ability to muster security people from various agencies of ours within our security arms. We are talking of the police. There's an ASP there serving, so that one is not fake. The police didn't say he's fake. There are also soldiers that were involved and other people from different security. So for them to be able to muster that, then something is fishy somewhere. I also want to look at the angle of one of our colleagues that was also arrested. I don't know how his level of involvement. I want the police to come out clear on that. What role did he play on that? But Mike, taking it further, for me, for the AGF, this is not the best of time. Of recent, the AGF have been fingered in so many things that I think he's, to a large extent, without accusing him, it doesn't say well of his office. We are just talking about the issue of the issue they're having with the Nigerian Governors Forum. You read it out, where they're accusing the AGF of siding the consultants and the rest of them on that. Don't forget also that the AGF was also accused when it came to that issue of MTN payment. The AGF was also fingered. I didn't know how that ended. There have been so many other instances where the office of AGF. So I think the AGF should be able to rise above at any given point. The AGF is not the only officer or member of cabinet of the president, but how come that every single thing that happens, the AGF, something, I don't know what the problem is. I was watching in one of the national stations, TV stations yesterday, trying to defend himself and the rest of it. But it just goes beyond that. He who comes to equity, as we say in law, must come with clean hands. That is one. But I will also take it forward to that. I may not be very, very optimistic on the outcome of this investigation. I see it going the same way. So many of that before it had gone. Mike, don't call me a pessimist. That is Nigeria for you. Yes. Yes. I know you are smiling that you know you like reading my mind.
No, I have not said anything yet.
Yes, but just a second, Mike. I will tell you, let me give you this instance. There was a guy, there was some soldiers that killed some policemen some time ago. You remember the case of Wadume? We've forgotten. I'm trying to remember
in Taraba State.
In Taraba State. Some soldiers and military men were figured in the killing of those policemen. Investigations was instituted. Court. Have you heard anything about Wadume again? Even the so-called army captain or whatever that was involved. Have you? So this is the way we roll. I have come to say several times that Nigeria is just like Charlie Boy show. Anything can happen on Charlie Boy show, and that is where we find ourselves until we continue to bring to question and also prosecute those that we find wanting, who takes the laws into their hands, and make sure that the punitive measures is put in place to make sure that they are punished. We continue to have this. Somebody to just wake up and gather security agencies and storm the home of a justice of. Mike, if it was just an ordinary journalist like me that was on, do you think it will get reported? Before they don't even finish me before I hear them. So that is the problem we have. So I think, so funny as it sounds, but that is where we find ourselves. Yeah. And this, to me, we should use this at the next time, which this must not be swept under the carpet.
All right. I like the way the NBA puts it. We'll get to the root of this issue. Yeah. With that alone, that's a very strong statement, and I hope that Nigerians actually get to the root of this issue. We just have a few minutes before we go now. Let's touch this story on the front page of the Leadership newspaper. Leadership newspaper says a public hospital struggle with poor facilities, and experts suggest ways to improve healthcare in the 29,300 hospitals. Nigeria loses 2 billion naira to medical tourism annually. All right. Sesan, I wonder what you make of this, because the point there is, we have the statistics, we have these realities, yet they don't seem to be the urgency by government to say, what can we do about this? Some of the issues, for instance, private hospitals that don't even get subvention or get allocation from the federal government or any government for that matter, when it comes to even regulating them to ensure that they're up to standard, in some instances we see that also lacking. But what do you make of this?
Yeah, Mike, this is no news. And what do we expect when all the leaders that are expected to put certain things in place does not believe in the country that they lead? That's what you get. You don't get anything better than it. Everyone that the high and mighty in this country never visit any hospital in this nation. Even for as low as malaria, they prefer to, in the morning they're out of the country, to any country you want to say, whether UK, Indian, US, and in the evening they are back in the country using the taxpayers' money. So we have said it times with that number, and no reservation about it, that the leaders, our politicians, are no concern for we the masses that they claim they are leading. It's not just today. This report has been on and on. The only time we got the attention of the government was when God decided to deal with us holistically as a nation, as globally, by bringing COVID. That's when you saw that everybody was within the country, and we started setting up hospitals. Those hospitals and some local area that was set up then, are they still in existence? The answer is no. So those areas are off the track. How many of the general hospitals can we visit these days? The amenities are obsolete, they are not up to date, the doctors are not being paid. You and I know that they just come out of their strike. So until we have our leaders believe in what they are leading, what they do basically, by my own assumption, do what I say and don't do what I do. So because they don't believe in us, they don't do anything here, so they decide to leave some of the. It's not only the hospital. How about the educational sector? Every sector is being, on the other side. They send their children to the best school in outside world, forgetting that most of the things that they make use of are taxpayers' money. Okay. So until we have our leaders take things, intentionally to make sure that things work, we are not going anywhere with this.
Okay. CKN, the report here says that Nigeria loses about $2 billion to medical tourism annually. That's a lot of money if it is utilized in this country. And
unfortunate is the president that is leading that surge of Mike, they open my mic.
No, Chris, it is only at what you are saying, nothing more than that.
Now you they open my mic this morning. Now you they open my mic this morning.
Okay, I didn't hear anything. Go ahead.
But seriously, it's quite unfortunate. They are twofold. First and foremost, what we're having presently in the health sector is what I call corruption. Corruption, yes, to a large extent, because we've come to realize that on a yearly basis, we budget billions and billions for most of this, for the health sector. And you don't see this money trickling down to most of those basic areas that we budgeted for. People siphon money and the rest of them. Just as Sesan said, it's also happening in other sectors. That is one. But Mike, let me just take you a big back. So in 1983, I was a class 4 secondary school, class 4 student of Ojota Secondary School. And where I'm taking you to is that I remember the coup that brought in General Muhammadu Buhari. I think it was General Dogoyaro that made that announcement. I'm not too sure. And one of the things that he said then, as of 1983, was that our hospitals have turned to mere consulting centers. I remember that vividly. That was part of why the military struck then. Look back now, how many years after, over 30-something years after, we still find ourselves where we are. That means that leadership have not been doing what they're supposed to do. We're having a whole lot of things. Yes, medical tourism. Practically, as Sesan also said, all our leaders, all they do nowadays was the only time that we had some kind of rhetoric was during the COVID period when all of them could not travel. But immediately the roads were open, or they are all flying to America, London, and the rest of them. The problem we have presently is that until we have leaders that have the mindset to be able to improve the lives of those that live, we'll continue to have it. We continue pumping money on a daily basis in the health sector, but nothing to show for it.
All right.
And that is where I feel that the president and the rest of them should do the need. But once again, pessimistic, yes.
All right. CKN, you know that in this country we are people of hope. We always pray and hope. So let's pray and hope that things get better one way or the other. Thank you.
That's why we believe in God.
Yes.
Everything what we do now.
All right. Thank you very much, Chris Kehinde Nwandu, for your time on the program. Really appreciate you. Thank you.
You can off the mic now.
No, I'm offing the mic, like they say. Okay, Sesan Okunade, thank you very much for coming.
My pleasure,
Thank
always.
you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and have a nice weekend.
And you too.